Hi guys, here's the long-awaited Lisbon vlog. I absolutely loved this city, the country of Portugal. I definitely want to go back. I went from the Madrid airport I flew from Madrid to Lisbon, and this is me taking the subway back. I initially wanted to take like an Uber, but it was like half an hour and it wasn't coming, so I just took the subway. I stayed at the Central House Lisbon Baxia. Highly recommend. It was very good. And then I got dinner at Gandhi Palace and went to bed. Okay, so this is official day one of touring Lisbon. And of course, when you hear about Portugal, Lisbon, the steep stairs and hills, there were so many of those, but I would suggest starting at the top of a hill and then making your way down for the attractions. Like you can either go up the hill if you want, or take like an Uber or a tram or something to the top and make your way down. This was Castelo de Sao Jorge. You had to buy tickets for this, but I highly recommend. Like the viewpoints were very, very cool. The actual castle itself, it was like as you see here, but I think the viewpoint is definitely worth it. There were so many like peacocks everywhere, so that was cool to kind of see. But yeah, the viewpoints were gorgeous. I then made my way to another viewpoint. The viewpoints in Lisbon or in Portugal are called Miradouro. So I went to the Miradouro das Portas do Sol. Again, very pretty. I like went down a hill to this church and it was supposed to be open, but it wasn't. So that was kind of a waste of time. I took the tram 28 because it's like, you know, so popular. It was so bumpy, so I recommend if you don't like bumpy rides to just admire it from outside when it's passing by. But yeah, I then made my way to the Palácio de São Vicente. I'm pronouncing these names so wrong, I'm so sorry. But it was cool. I definitely did not need to go inside, and I wasn't going to go inside, but then I needed a break from the heat, so I did go inside. I then went to the Pantheon and it was very cool. Again, like all attractions in Europe, buy your tickets beforehand. For like the castle, I bought them beforehand. Then I was making my way downhill and I stopped in this cute little cafe to get a matcha. I then visited the Lisbon Cathedral and this was pretty nice inside, so I'm glad I did go inside to see the different architecture and stuff. I then went to this vegan restaurant called Majarica. It was so good. I got this traditional like Portuguese bean dish with fresh orange juice. I drank so much orange juice in Europe, guys. I then got pastel de nata, which is like a signature of Lisbon in Portugal. It was so good. Of course, a vegan version. The Praca de Commercio is basically like a huge place with just like buildings surrounding it. Very hot. I recommend like using an umbrella to shade yourself. I went to the pink street. Basically, like the whole street is pink. There's also a green street I wanted to go, but I unfortunately didn't have time. I then took the tram to Geronimo's Monastery. This one, I'm so glad I went inside, even though the line was kind of long. Although I bought tickets beforehand, it was so worth it. The views are just so cool, and like it was just so cool to see. So I highly recommend going to this one. It is kind of far from like central Lisbon, like it's about a 40-minute ride, but I honestly kind of just took a nap on the tram, so it was fine. Anyways, here's more reviews from that. After that, I walked over to the part of Belém. So with the castle and all of that at the beginning, that was the Alfama district. This is the Belém district. So I went to the Belém Tower and I was recommended to like not go up because it's just a viewpoint. So it was very cool to look at for sure. I didn't even go all the way because I was so tired. This is the Baxia district where my hostel was at. That's the Carmo Convent. And then I went and saw the Elevador de Santa Justa, which was so cool. Like the architecture is amazing. I then went to the Praca Dom Pedro IV, is that? And that's like right near my hostel. So I just ordered some takeout from this place called Ramen Bamboo Lisbon, and I went to bed, and I did a day trip to Porto the next day, so I slept early. Alright, bright and early, I had a Flixbus from Lisbon to Porto at 6 a.m. So I got here at like 5:15 just because sometimes it's hard to find like Flixbus, like what bus you're getting on and where it's located. So I always make sure I give myself ample time. I went to Porto via Flixbus. There's also different options like train and stuff, but this was the most effective, like cheap and accessible. Porto is known for their wine and also having like blue and white tiles on the outside of buildings. So that was cool to see. I got some breakfast at 100 Copa. These pancakes were literally divine. They filled me up and they were so good. I then had a ticket to see the Livraria Lilo, which is a library, and it is like based on the Harry Potter staircase and stuff. Oh my god, the inside was beautiful. Again, get tickets beforehand for this. Like, look at the inside. I just wanted to this was so nice. After that, I went to these other two churches that had the blue tiles and stuff like that. It was free to enter, that's why I entered. Otherwise, I recommend, this was cool to see, but I then went to the Jardim de Corredoria while I made my way to the Clergy's Tower. I just saw it from the outside because I knew I would be getting viewpoints next at the Miradouro de Vitoria, and I met up with a friend that I made in Madrid here. We then just stopped by McDonald's because this was supposed to be a super fancy McDonald's. Like, look at that, chandeliers inside. But anyways, me, her, and then another friend she made in Porto got some lunch, and we went to the Capella des Almas. If you want to see one church with these blue and white tiles, I recommend this one. Like, look how beautiful it is. We went to the Dom Louis Bridge, took some pictures here, and then Porto is known for their wine, so I really wanted to do a wine museum tour, just see how it was made and stuff, and they went very detailed on how it was made and why it's so popular. I had to rush my way here, that's why I'm sweaty, and I couldn't find it, so I had to ask around, and it was whole downhill, burning hot sun. Anyways, I made my way back from Lisbon to Porto. It was about a 3-hour Flix bus, but oh my god, I'm so glad I did this Porto day trip. So many people were telling me to do Porto and Sintra, and I was able. Initially I could only do one, but I adjusted things and I could do both. I just got takeout again and ate it in my hostel. Alright, so this was my Sintra day trip, and I also chose a package that went to Cascais, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Cabo de Roca, which is the westernmost point of Europe. It's continental Europe. It was so cool. So we started off at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. I forget. And this is Cascais. It's in Lisbon still, I believe. It was half an hour away. Beautiful beach. I kind of just laid here for some time, and then I decided to get breakfast at the Galleria House of Wonders, which was a very cool concept. They have the menu is a visual menu, so they have dishes already there and you can see what you're getting. So I got some food there, and then we were going from Cascais to Cabo de Roca. It was so windy at Cabo de Roca, obviously because it's on kind of a top of a hill. But it was beautiful. We got some good pictures, and we got to see the ocean, and also obviously being in the westernmost part was just so cool. So this is Cabo de Roca. It's so amazing. Here's some more videos from that. And here we are in Sintra, in my little mini, I think it was a group of 8 people. I met these 2 sisters from California, and so we got lunch together and kind of saw Sintra together. We went to the Sintra Palace. Our tour guide had tickets for that. It was included. All my day trips almost were from Get Your Guide, which is amazing. I highly recommend if you are able to book day trips when you go to a country, because you can see the neighboring cities so much with booking day trips. Anyways, this is the famous Sintra Palace. It was so cool, and having a tour guide just made it so nice to hear like what each room was and like history about it, some inside jokes and stuff like that. So here are some clips from that. And then we went back to Lisbon, and I had my flight to Budapest the next day at 9 a.m. I then stayed in Budapest for 3 days and went to Croatia to meet up with my friends from the US. So more vlogs coming soon, and as always, I have my whole Lisbon itinerary listed down below.